Thank you very much. Today I'll be speaking a little bit about Sabina and our Back River project in Nunavut. I will be making some forward-looking statements, so certainly before investing, I'd recommend that you can't read this, I'm sure, but on our website, but also some of our additional disclosure. I think a couple of theses that are very important and distinguish Sabina from a lot of our peers is the first, this is a regional scale belt that we control 100% of the prospective geology. An 80-kilometer long belt, we have a very large, high-grade resource and reserve. In measured and indicated, we're over 5.2 million ounces today at over 6 grams. These are the highest grade undeveloped open pits of over 500,000 ounces in the world. In addition, another 2 million ounces in inferred resources for a little over 7 million ounces. We've completed the feasibility. We've completed 400,000 meters of drilling on this property. And it is one of the few assets out there that actually has got a feasibility at almost $100 discount to today's prices at $11.50 gold. So when we look at future gold prices, that's not optionality, that's profit that's being built in. One of the things that has very much helped us through this permitting process has been the community support that we've been able to receive. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. But I think we've got a great team, also in a very healthy cash position today with a little over $45 million in our bank account. Again, this is an 80-kilometer long belt. The deposits that we're focusing on right now for our feasibility, you'll see in the lower right-hand corner what we call the Goose Project. And the Goose Project, again, recent feasibility, we're in the midst of permitting. This is certainly the basis for the investment thesis, but also another 5 million ounces that are outside of our reserves. So when we look at reserve conversion opportunities, they're abundant. A lot of brownfield and greenfield exploration targets, over 50 within this belt. And again, we control the 100% of the prospective geology within this belt. Like a lot of projects, we didn't discover this, but what we've done is we've made it. So it was a 2.2 million ounce resource when it was acquired by Sabina in 2009. And you'll see on the scale on the left in that upward trajectory, we've grown this from 2.2 to over 7.2 million ounces. One of the other things that separates us from many of our peers is these deposits are very well understood. 80% of our life of mine reserves are in the proven, the highest category. And when we look at risk, when we look at development risk, certainly resource risk is the number one in this business. And again, we haven't stopped growing this resource. We've got some additional exploration and resource conversion that we'll be doing later this year. In terms of grade, again, highest grade undeveloped open pits of over 500,000 ounces in the world. If we look at the deposits that are higher grade than this, certainly all underground, we do have 28% of our total reserve in the mine plan and the underground basis. But we have been in this permitting process since 2012. About $31.5 million so far been spent on community consultation, on resource data collection, and on the process. And most recently, the Nunavut Impact Review Board has put us back in the process on February 23rd of where we will be now having our final public hearings in the end of May. If you look at the support that we've received from the communities and certainly from the Inuit, that has certainly helped us get to where we are today. We've just filed an addendum to our FEIS, and with the federal government, they've said to concentrate on 5 areas. I think from the mitigation that we have now proposed, particularly when it comes to caribou and wildlife, we've set a new standard in the north. Again, community consultation is an important part of the process today. We've had over 300 documented community consults. And remember, the closest community to us is Cambridge Bay, a little over 400 kilometers. But more importantly, we've seen in writing significant support from local regulators, local governments, and local Indigenous groups. And both of these I think are very important pieces of support, and the most important one from the Kitikmeot Inuit Association, who is our landowner. Nunavut was formed on the basis of settlement of land claims, extinguishment of land claims. And the KIA is our landowner. And the benefit from their point of view is federal royalties in Canada will now flow through the feds back to the Inuit associations. The feasibility that we put out in 2015, again, shows just under 250,000 ounces a year for the first 8 years, 200,000 ounces per year life of mine. There's 4 mining areas within 5 kilometers in the Goose project, 3 open pits, 1 underground, and again, 72% open pit, 28% underground. And we have benchmarked this against other northern projects. To put it in perspective, we are in the Arctic. And other operating assets, open pit assets, include Agnico Eagle's Meadowbank mine, which is a 3-gram open pit. These are 6-gram open pits. Again, modest capital, $415 million. Our market cap today is probably about $315 million Canadian. Cash costs, certainly in the lowest quartile for sulfide mining, $534 an ounce. And again, room to grow. Again, we look at the feasibility and using 1150. If you look at this table up here, you'll see on the right-hand side what happens if you go to a 75-cent dollar is where we are today, and to 1250 gold, it's over a 31% IRR project today after tax. But we're not finished. We still have further optimization to do. Flotation versus whole ore leach, this is all about energy, especially in the north. And what we think is we've done is we're going to be able to deliver equal or better recoveries. And our recoveries have been 92 to 93%, so certainly in the higher end, but we think with less energy. We think we've been able to optimize some of the layouts of the plant and design. Again, less excavation, tighter working footprints. The biggest one is increased gold price, because a lot of those other optional ounces within our resource will come in at over 1150 gold. And again, embedded growth, all of our deposits are still open at depth, down plunge, and we believe, certainly with the exploration that we're going to be doing this year, that we're going to be able to quantify some of this. Again, Nunavut is an active mining region. If you look at western Nunavut, you look at the number of operations that are working in this part of the world, this isn't something new. This isn't something that we're inventing in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the logistics, in terms of the sea lifts, all the communities and all these operations, this is how they operate. And it's through Arctic shipping from the east and the west, followed by ice road transport to the site from our marine laydown area or barge landing. And that's about a 150-kilometer ice road. In terms of the embedded future growth, the George property, which is part of our resources, a little over 2 million ounces, that is about 50 kilometers away. It was part of a feasibility that was done earlier in a 6,000 ton a day larger all-encompassing feasibility. But certainly what we're looking at is how do we minimize dilution, how would we maximize return to our shareholders? And what we've done is we've set that aside for future optionality and future growth. But there's other opportunities within this district too, with the Dell, Boulder, Boot properties, and again even within George and Goose, of which we will be doing some further exploration. This year, we've committed $6 million of exploration to what we're calling high-impact targets. And what we mean by high impact is those that, if successful, will actually be able to increase our IRR in our project today. Some of those, and again, are they going to be hard to see on these maps, but certainly Nicole Holler, who's here with me today, and myself, we can walk you through some of these. The vault deposit, or the vault portion of the deposit, is the average grade is 3 to 5 times there of our average resource grade. And a lot of the drilling and the best hole that was drilled in that, which is about 50 grams over just under 20 meters, is not even part of our measured and indicated resource, so not part of our mine plan. It's part of the inferred ounces. Kagoyak, another one that we've done some additional drilling on. We're going to do some more to follow up some high-grade intercepts. This is a very compelling gold project. When we look at the exploration fail that's been out there in the gold market, what this shows is from 26 until 2015, the number of ounces that have been found globally on a year-by-year basis. It's pretty obvious where this curve has gone to. and what it's done to the mid-tiers and the majors. The reality is whether they think gold's got $1,000 or a $2,000 number in front of it, is they all need additional ounces to grow because there has been an exploration fail. We put together this map when I was with Kaminak. We sold it to Goldcorp in August of 2015, and it was another one that sat on the top right corner, which was which deposits can have greater than 30% after-tax IRR and produce greater than 180,000 ounces a year. It's a pretty lonely corner. And I think Eric has hypothesized it might get lonelier. With permitting, particularly in Canada, any first world nation, is security of title comes with increased permitting risk. Again, I believe that we'll be through this last hurdle effectively at the end of May with a decision by the Nunavut Impact Review Board in the middle of July. But even with that, and look at the success that we've had, the cash that we've got in the bank, the catalyst that we're going to be able to deliver in 2017 with permitting, with resource optimization, and exploration, detailed engineering, I think that our relative strength to peers is certainly going to be in the top end of this chart a year from today. Management and board, this is all about people. This is a people business and people that have the ability to deliver and the ability to execute and who've done it before. And if you look at our board, we have all of those boxes checked. And very good analyst coverage. You know, we're working on the newsletter coverage. Great major shareholders, and they've stuck with us for a long time and certainly share our vision of where we're taking this company tomorrow. And again, I would love to take the opportunity to answer any questions outside after the break. Thank you.